Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to make some ethanol-free fuel, gasoline specifically. Not for this big diesel. I'm going to make it for smaller carburetors, the things like chainsaws, weed whackers, things like that, that plug up real easy with the white rust and garbage that the ethanol fuel causes. It attracts in all kinds of moisture, and if you don't, especially if you don't use the equipment for 6 months or something like that, you go to start, everybody knows that frustration, you go to start your lawnmower and it's plugged up, and now either you can fix it yourself, hopefully, or you have to bring it somewhere and pay. So let's get started. Okay, check this out. This is why we're making this ethanol-free fuel. These are two carburetors that had ethanol-related problems. This one here is a off a little Briggs & Stratton, and down inside here, that's where the problem lies in this one. Underneath this float, down in this cavity here, that's where the needle and seat work. And this is the jet, the lower jet, and there's a needle that goes in here. And what happens is it has a rubber seat in it, and that's the new one right there that's going to go in. But what happened is the ethanol fuel deteriorated that to the point where when the float would shut the needle into the seat, it didn't stop the flow of fuel and it would just leak out. Over here in this Q-jet, the accelerator pump plunger, that neoprene plunger there is shot, so it doesn't do its job anymore. It doesn't pump fuel into the carburetor's primary circuit. When you open up the throttles, you need that to just cover a split second of lack of fuel, and that's basically what happened to because of the ethanol fuel. And you know, it would happen without it, but it would take forever. This happens pretty rapidly. They sell kits with seals that are supposed to withstand that type of fuel better, and you know, this is expensive, this kind of stuff. And you know, I work with, you know, guys that fix expensive cars, and they know nothing about carburetors anymore. I mean, they would have to go home and not even be able to figure out how to fix their own lawnmower. So it's a lost art, and you know, it's a little costly to make this fuel because you're going to start out using the high octane fuel, because after you remove the ethanol, it's going to lower the alcohol or the octane somewhat. So we're going to do that soon. Okay, to do the job, it's real simple. We're going to use 4 gallons of gas, and I don't like to use this kind of container. It's not a safety can, it's not a gasoline can, it's a bucket. I'm using this container so we could see the lines of fluid change after the you know, the change takes place. What's going to take place is we're going to put a gallon of water into the 4 gallons of gas, which gives us 5 total. As you know, water will go to the bottom because it's heavier, and you'll see the water level at the bottom, and you'll see the gas level above it. Because okay, so now I've added the water, and you see the water goes right to the bottom, like I said, and I've marked that line where the difference is between the water at the bottom and the gasoline above it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it up like crazy, and we'll come back in about an hour and see what happens to the levels. Okay, hopefully you can see that line pretty well, but I should have used a fine line marker to mark the container, because that line's about a 1/4 inch fat. But so I think I've gained about 1/2 of an inch of the water volume actually rising, which means, I should have said this in my last clip, that the water wants to bond with the alcohol in the fuel, so the two want to pull together. I used to do a test like this with a syringe when I used to work for BMW. That was how when they had runnability complaints, they would get a sample of fuel, put water in the syringe, shake it up and down. There was a line to read, and you measured it. And of course, they didn't want to see more than a certain percentage of alcohol in the fuel because they would blame the runnability issues on that. But so, you know, that's why you would put dry gas in your fuel when you suspect you have water, because dry gas is nothing but really alcohol. And like I said, the water wants to bond with it, so it kind of makes it bond together and kind of hopefully burn it out of the car. But anyway, so I don't know how much this is. I don't even know how much ethanol is rated to be in this fuel. I had about 10 inches of fuel altogether, so you figure I lost about a ½ inch in a 5-gallon pail of my fuel level. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap out the gas with a siphon as carefully as I can. When it gets really low, I'm going to tilt it sideways so I can get just about every bit of it. And you know, then I'm going to make mixed fuel for the chainsaws and things with a 5-gallon bucket, 5-gallon gas can, and the chainsaw 2-stroke mix here. And what I'll do with the remaining bit of it is I will dispose of it as if it was you know, motor oil or gasoline waste, you know, in you know, properly disposed of in the right manner. So this, again, this should keep me from chasing too many carburetor problems, especially in the off season. So thanks for watching.